Good evening, everybody. Hello! It's me again. Good evening and welcome to Tuesday night P7, just to make sure you're all on your toes. A rare Tuesday night after a stack of Friday nights. And tonight we're going to finish off what we've got left to do, which thankfully is not too much. We started some audit reports, which we started, as you recall, on Friday. So I'll just do you a brief reminder of that, and then we will move on by taking a look at some non-audit assignments in chapter number 7. And we'll have a little look at a bit of an exam question as well, just to show you how that stuff comes up. So, just to remind you that, of course, on tomorrow night, from 5 till 5:30, we have our final mentoring session. So again, a chance for you guys to ask any questions you've got. But as always, I'll be bringing something along to that half-hour session, which will be a past exam question, or part of a past exam question, and we will have something to do should you decide not to ask me any questions at all, which I suppose is possible. So that is happening tomorrow, and then we will be into May, and then of course we start revising. 4 revision sessions, and during those revision sessions we will be doing a lot of past exam questions, lots and lots and lots. Anyway, that is the plan. I hope everyone is okay. Let us begin tonight's session with a reminder of what we did on the end of Friday's session. So we're looking at chapter 6 of the class notes, and we are looking at the main subject of that chapter, which is audit reports. And as we saw on Friday, 2 basic styles of question. They both rely on the same knowledge, which is you need to know what an audit report looks like in terms of content, structure, the order of events. And you also need to understand the 7 potential outcomes we can get for an audit report. So just a reminder verbally of what we saw on Friday up on the screen. 7 possible outcomes. You have the basic, boring, unmodified report. The report that says that the accounts are true and fair and the auditors say nothing else. So that's example number 1. There are then 4 reasons for having a modified opinion. So in other words, the opinion section of the audit report is going to change. 4 reasons it happens, 2 reasons with each reason having 2 separate levels of severity, if you like. So 2 reasons: lack of evidence, misstatement. And then our next job is to decide, does the problem, the lack of evidence or the misstatement, affect a small number of balances or lots of balances in the accounts? The idea being, if it only affects a small number, we can say, well, here's a problem, but except for that, everything else is fine. Whereas if the problem affects multiple balances, if it's a lack of evidence, we can't give an opinion at all. And if it's misstatements, we will say the accounts do not give a true and fair view. So those are our 4 modified opinions. So we've got the basic unmodified report, 4 ways to change the opinion, and then we've got 2 other ways of changing the report without touching the opinion, and those are the extra paragraphs, the other matter, and the emphasis of matter. The other matter, we add that onto the end of an audit report when there is a problem with the other information, the stuff in the annual report, which is not audited, but which we have to read just in case it's inconsistent with the accounts. So other matter is where you've got something outside of the accounts which is wrong. whereas an emphasis of matter is something inside the accounts which is correct but so significant we wish to emphasise it, draw attention to it. So, those are your 7 outcomes. I just want to talk now about how we go about actually attempting the 2 types of question. So, if we are looking at the question type which says, explain the impact on the audit report, so it's a sort of description question. Scenario presented to you and you've got to say what the impact is. What sort of things does the examiner put into the answer? Well, first thing you've got to do is explain the issue that we've got, and it's either going to be a lack of evidence, a misstatement. So those are the 2 things that affect the opinion. Or it could be one of the other paragraphs, meaning there's a problem in the other information. Or the other issue, the financial statements are correct, but an important matter to highlight. So those are the 4 things you're looking out for. So stage 1, say which one of those it is. Stage 2, second thing that will get you marks. If it's a lack of evidence or a financial statement misstatement, so a mistake in the accounts, you've now got to say, do you think it's material? Or do you think it's pervasive? In other words, does it affect a small number of balances or lots of balances? Third thing. Are you going to modify the opinion? Remember, you're only going to modify the opinion if there's a lack of evidence or a misstatement. And at this point, you need to argue, based on what you've said so far, is it going to be except for? Or is it going to be adverse? Or is it going to be disclaimer? If it's not a modified opinion, and instead it's the extra paragraph, you will need to say whether it's other matter or emphasis of matter. And finally, describe the impact on the report. In other words, what will the report look like? So, if you are modifying the opinion, then what you're going to need is an explanation in what we call a basis paragraph above the opinion. And that explanation has got to have some detail in it. So, for example,